Hello and good afternoon. Holly Shields here reporting to you live from Calcutta Studio in Sydney, and you're watching the Mid-Market Pulse. Let's take a look at the overall Australian share market performance by the mid-session trade. Well, Aussie shares continue to trade lower by the afternoon, with most of the sectoral indices flashing in the red. Market sentiment was dented by weak global cues, while investors turned cautious ahead of the release of minutes of the monetary policy meeting held during November. In the latest policy meeting, the Reserve Bank kept the official cash rate unchanged at a record low of 0.10%, while they announced to scrap the target of 10 basis points for April 2024 Australian government bond. Investors will also be keeping an eye on the RBA governor's speech at the Australian Business Economists virtually on recent trends in inflation. Then by the afternoon trade, the ASX 200 index was down by 31.10 points, or 0.42%. Earlier today, the benchmark index opened lower, tracking weak cues from Wall Street, and dropped as much as 0.6% during the day's trade so far. Then on the sectoral front, 10 of the 11 sectors were trading lower, barring AREIT. Materials sector was the worst performer, with a 1.2% loss, led by index heavyweights like BHP, James Hardie and Cobra. Then IT was down 0.8%, with Nearmap and Xero falling between 2 and 4% each, following weak cues, of course, from the US counterpart Nasdaq. Among others, telecom, healthcare, consumer discretionary, consumer staples and financials also witnessed selling pressures. Meanwhile, AREIT was the only gainer, trading higher with just a marginal gain. Then the biggest loser on the ASX pack was biotech company Mesoblast, which dropped a whopping 4.5%, followed by the notable losers, which were tech company Nearmap, BNPL Player, Zipco, software business Tyro Payments, and investment management Pendal Group. And meanwhile, English bank Virgin Money UK topped the UK gainers chart by rising 3.6%. Other top performers include real estate business Lifestyle Communities, natural gas and energy business APA Group, and realty firm Shopping Centres Australasia Property Group, and royalty company Deterra Royalties. With that said, let's move on to the stocks that created a buzz on the ASX today. First up, shares of Imugene rose over 4% after the biotech company on a new clinical trial supply agreement. The clinical stage immunology company has entered into an agreement with Germany-based Merck GAA, Darmstadt and Pfizer Incorporated to evaluate the safety and efficacy of its HER-Vax in combination with avelumab for the treatment of gastric cancer. HER-Vax, a therapeutic cancer vaccine for the treatment of gastric cancer and breast cancer, is Imugene's lead product. And meanwhile, shares of Oz Minerals fell nearly 1.5% even after the copper producer hiked its total copper reserve estimates. The Explorer has raised its total copper reserve estimates by 5 to 10.3 million tonnes of contained copper, and it's also upgraded the mineral resource metal copper estimates by around 2%. Then in other news, shares of Resimac Group were trading 0.3% lower by the mid-session after released earnings report for the first half year ending October 31. The mortgage lender's home loan settlements rose a whopping 72% for the period July to October. Then their home loan portfolio grew as well at an annualized growth rate of 15%. Assuming the financial markets remain stable for the remainder of the year, the company expects normalized net profit for the first half of financial 2022 to be in line with or higher than the prior year period. And shares of Woodside Petroleum traded at marginally higher a day after the oil and gas major agreed to sell 49% stake in the Pluto Train 2 joint venture. The company has inked a sale and purchase agreement with Global Infrastructure Partners to sell interest at the Pluto train. Shares of healthcare business Capital Health surged nearly 6%, after it released an update of its 2021 annual general meeting. According to the company, its underlying organic revenue witnessed a growth of 9.7% in October against the prior corresponding period. It also stated that it's focusing on continuing the organic revenue growth and sustainable operating margin of 23 to 24%. Capitol Health provides diagnostic imaging and related services to healthcare markets. With that said, that is a wrap for now on the show, but keep watching Kalkine TV for more trending market updates from Australia and around the world. Holly Shields signing off.